Hello, my name is SalSphere. We are going to talk about anti-acne technologies. In this session, I'm going to focus on OTC solutions. In the beginning, we will talk about how the disease progresses, and then we are going to talk about different technologies that could help us ease on acne. Let's start with understanding how the disease develops. The formation of acne.
The formation of a pimple, or comedone, begins with an excess production of sebum, or oil, in the sebaceous gland. Now, as the sebaceous gland produces this oil, it will fill the follicle. When this sebum reaches the surface of the skin, it begins to accumulate dead skin cells, dust, and other particulates and contaminants, forming a plug within the follicle. Beneath this plug, an anaerobic environment where P. acnes bacteria can proliferate forms. The proliferation of this bacteria leads to redness, inflammation, and the other symptoms of acne.
How can we help consumers with acne? First of all, the facts. The facts are the following. Acne is a bacterial disease. P. acne is the main bacteria that grows in the hair follicle to form the pimple. The disease is well spread globally. It occurs at all ages and genders, teenagers, babies, and even older people, men and women. It appears on face and body. It affecting self-image and confidence, and can leave physical and mental scars. All this requires us to take action. Treatment. What is the typical treatment? We are going to focus on OTC treatment. OTC in the US allows to use two active pharmaceutical ingredients, API in short. The first one is salicylic acid. Salicylic acid is used at the level of 0.5 to 2%. Any concentration below 0.5 considered to be cosmetics. Everything above 2% requires prescription. Therefore, it's a RX product. The second API is benzoyl peroxide, BPO. This is being used at a concentration between 2.5 and 10%. The next level of treatment requires prescription and typically involve antibiotics of different families. The generic products are cosmetic solutions, and they consider to contain active that help as antiseptic, super sebum absorber, exfoliating agents, and maybe some vitamin to strengthen the immune system and by this help acne. Then there is the whole group of home remedies for acne. You can see from jojoba oil all the way to tea tree oil, lemon juice, and baking soda. These all have been used for many years to a certain degree of success. However, treating with home remedies cannot be used as an anti-acne, can only be used as an acne blemish treatment. Let's learn a little bit more about acne. Acne is a bacteria-based disease. Bacteria grows in the hair follicles and forms comedones. There are two types of comedones. There is the whitehead comedones that happen when oil and skin cells clog the hair follicles. The white spot that you see are as a result of excess of oil. The second group of comedones are the blackhead comedones, in which the blackheads are typically results of oxidized fatty acid or accumulation of melanin. When we look at the structure of the skin where the pimple is being formed in the hair follicle, this is the hair follicle. Here is the oily secretion from the sebaceous gland, this is the sebaceous gland, and it forms the acne. The acne is formed in different steps. The first one is typically excess of oil. One can see the skin become oily, shiny. This is an indication of skin-prone acne. Then there is a congestion at the hair follicle. Could be feel it and could sometimes see when it's become a different color. Then there is a mix created between the pasty glue that clog the pore. The mix is a mix of dead bacteria, dead skin, a complex of fatty acid, dust, and so on. This forms a pasty glue, and the glue will clog the pores. And of course, when we have the nice clog, it creates perfect environment for the anaerobic P. acne to grow and develop the disease. I would like to review the acne process this time and also show you what are the treatment that we could use in order to stop different steps from creating the full blown out acne. The process starts by unbalance of hormone secretion. As a result of this, there is excess of sebum secretion and the skin becomes oily. The skin become oily is a good substrate for bacteria growth. Bacteria start to grow. As the bacteria grow, they form a plug. The plug creates anaerobic conditions that favor P. acne bacteria from growing up. As a result of this, we form the pimple. The pimple is characterized with redness, inflammation, itching, and eventually it could generate a scar. Now, how can we handle it at the different steps? Number one is this. We can affect the hormonal unbalance by choosing the type of food that we eat. Typically, by reducing fatty food, we can reduce the secretion of excess sebum. The accumulation of sebum on the skin can be regulated by using agents that can reduce the sebum. Yes, they may dry out the skin to a certain extent, but they can control the amount of sebum on the skin. Bacteria can be controlled by using antiseptic ingredients. For example, tea tree at a certain concentration can help to prevent bacteria spreading. How can we prevent accumulation of bacteria and forming the pimple? Another way is to use exfoliating agents that exfoliate the skin, clear the clogs, and open the pores. So there are different methods that one can use and different strategies to help consumer with acne. However, when we use OTC solutions, these solutions typically address multiple aspects of acne. They can be used in combination with other cosmetic ingredients to support the specific issue of acne to a specific consumer. But the two basic ingredients are still salicylic acid and benzoyl peroxide. Let's talk now about salicylic acid. Salicylic acid has been used for many years, and it is originally extracted from a botanical source. And today we are using a synthetic similar ingredients. The salicylic acid is known to be or to have very limited water solubility. Water solubility of salicylic acid is limited to 0.2%. So if one would like to use a higher concentration than 0.2%, has to find out other technologies to increase the dosage. to reach 2% or 0.5%, which is the minimum OTC level. So how can we increase the dosage of salicylic acid? And there are typical strategies for this. One of them is based on alcohol. Dissolve the salicylic acid first in alcohol and then incorporate it in the formula, or alternatively use some surfactant and dissolve the salicylic acid in surfactant and then create a formula. Both alcohol and the surfactant are further irritating the skin. The skin is already irritated, and we would not like to continue and worsen the situation. So the option of using alcohol and surfactant is not acceptable for most of the manufacturers. The only way to use it is now to encapsulate the salicylic acid, so there is no need for alcohol or extra strength surfactant. Another issue with using salicylic acid is the final effect on the skin. It's drying and irritating the skin because salicylic acid has a low pH. And any attempt to increase the pH will transform salicylic acid to sodium salicylate, and sodium salicylate has no efficacy when it comes to treating acne or exfoliating the skin in general. So dryness because of the low pH is a major challenge that we'll try to overcome with the technology suggested. Number 3, it's reduced efficacy. Salicylic acid dissolved in any kind of wash-off application has a limited contact time with the skin. Because of the limited contact time, there is limited effect. And what we would like to do is to achieve a longer contact time so that the effect could take longer and the results can be seen for a longer time. The result of all this limitation is the utilization of salicylic acid in encapsulated form. I will talk about the 2 different forms of salicylic acid that we offer. They are liquid, easy to formulate with. They don't require any alcohol or additional surfactant. They are compatible with different type of wash off and leave on. The pH is higher than regular, so it's on one hand allowed exfoliation, on the other hand it's more skin friendly. The salicylic acid from the encapsulation stick to the skin and gradually release. So what we achieve here is the same amount of salicylic acid, but it's released over longer time in a slow rate, so it does not dry the skin as the free. In the case of using the free, we have all the amount of salicylic acid at once on the skin, and this results with the drying. With encapsulation, we have the same amount, but exposed very gradually onto the skin, which allowed the skin to balance itself over time. So we get the results, and it's a friendly solution and friendly environment. The first product that I would like to introduce is SalSphere Even Skin. This product is based on SalSphere technology, and briefly I would say SalSphere technology is based on submicron spheres. They are solid hydrophobic core in which we encapsulate our salicylic acid or any other active for this purpose. Then the surface, the shell of the particle is typically hydrophilic, and that's what allows to suspend the particles. And the shell is made of bioadhesive polymers that help to stick the particle onto the skin. Once it sticks to the skin, we can get long-lasting results. If it doesn't stick to the skin, it just washed off immediately, and it's a kind of waste. Salvona is offering 2 versions of encapsulated salicylic acid. The old version is called SalSphere Salicylic Acid, and what's unique about this is the cationic shell. This cationic shell was a good base to control the pH. However, we found that it's not compatible with many of the commercial bases, especially those that contain anionic carbopol thickeners. Therefore, we developed SalSphere Even Skin, which is made of non-ionic shell, which makes it now more stable, more compatible with variety of rinse-off and leave-on formulations. The SalSphere Even Skin was incorporated in several products. One of them is the Epitex, which is a professional dermatology line of anti-acne that was heavily tested and found to be very effective on a variety of skin types. The SalSphere Even Skin is characterized by very compatible with typical bases, anionic, carbopol, and so on. It reduces the redness almost immediately, on average between 1 and 2 days. In many cases, we could see a reduction of the redness in hours. It heals, smooths, and clears the skin from acne. The most important, it does not dry the skin. This combination allows for better compliance. Consumers can use it easily multiple times a day if they want to, and by this they accelerate the healing from acne. How does it work? First of all, let's look at the pimple itself. You see, this is the pimple, this is the sebaceous gland, and here inside the pimple we start to see the formation of the clog. The plug is made out of fatty acid, some dead bacteria, these brown beads that you see here, and some dead cells. They're all growing, and the bacteria is growing inside the hair follicle. Now with time, the plug becomes more and more significant. You see the accumulation of dead cells and the accumulation of dead bacteria. This is all mixed up with the fatty acid to form a very nice anaerobic environment within the hair follicle. Now, when we apply SalSphere salicylic acid in any kind, what's happening in the first event is the SalSphere particle tend to stick onto the pimple. The adhesion into the pimple is a result of the hydrophobic affinity. The pimple is hydrophobic, fatty acid, and the particle, the SalSphere, is also hydrophobic. And oil likes oil, so the particles can stick onto the pimple. By achieving this, we get targeted release. The salicylic acid is accumulating where it's needed the most. Once the particles integrate into the pimple, they dissolve, like the oil dissolve in the oil, and they start to release salicylic acid. So once the particles integrate into the pimple, they melt, they dissolve to release the salicylic acid. The salicylic acid then start to exfoliate to break down the pimple and the skin around the pimple. By doing so, the pimple is degraded and the redness would be reduced. Now here you see the open pore. When the pore becomes open, the salicylic acid from SalSphere can easily penetrate into the hair follicle. Salicylic acid by itself has some antibiotic activity. But the major benefit of the exfoliation by the salicylic acid is the ability of oxygen to get into the pore. And oxygen is the major medication in this case to kill the bacteria. So what SalSphere salicylic acid is doing is targeting the pimple, opening the pore, and allowing the air to get in. The oxygen in the air is preventing the anaerobic P. acne bacteria from growing. Therefore, salicylic acid can be used when there is acne or when there is no acne but the consumer has an acne-prone skin. This is a way to use and to keep the skin healthy, keep the pores open. SalSphere salicylic acid considered to be a smart delivery system because of the following reasons. It offers a targeted delivery. It enables higher deposition of salicylic acid onto the pimples. And this happens due to the anhydrous affinity between the bead and the pimple. So if we bring more salicylic acid to the pimple, we have less side effects. And this is a unique benefit. Now, SalSphere salicylic acid is a time-release system. It is composed of a metric system which is highly loaded with salicylic acid. The salicylic acid can only slowly diffuse out of the particles into the environment. The slow release allows longer contact time, and also it modulates the level of salicylic acid that comes in contact with the skin. So by having smaller amount of salicylic acid, the skin is able to balance itself and resulting with less of dryness, less of irritation, and a higher compliance. Means that consumer can use it more often and accelerate the healing process. Overall, SalSphere salicylic acid increase the efficacy of salicylic acid. It exfoliates the skin to allow self-healing, and that's the beautiful thing with this technology. What do we do in case that the acne become more severe? For that purpose, Salvona is offering SalSphere Severe Acne Relief. The signs of severe acne are the following. It's deep and painful cyst, inflammation, redness of the skin, irregularities of the skin surface like bumps, and many times we could see how it forms scars. What is the solution and how SalSphere Severe Acne Relief can help us? The technology is based on providing 6 benefits all in one technology. The product contains different types of active ingredient, mostly natural ingredient, and they're all encapsulated to form SalSphere Severe Acne Relief. The benefits include, number 1, anti-acne solution. It unclogs the pores. It exfoliates the skin. Number 2, antiseptic. It kills the bacteria. Moisturizing. It keeps the skin hydrated, which is key element to allow the skin fight bacteria. It contains anti-inflammatory agents that can immediately reduce the redness. It contains some ingredients that can minimize the formation of scars and to rejuvenate the skin. And number 6, it controls the sebum production, which is a key element in reducing the growth of acne. In the following table, you see more details of what is included. In the anti-acne category, of course, it's salicylic acid is the API, active pharmaceutical ingredient. Antibacterial, we use benzoconium chloride, which in this case has 2 functions. It's a preservative and it's also an antibacterial. And botanical extracts to modulate hydration as well and anti-inflammatory as well. For skin rejuvenation, we are using 2 ingredients. One of them is peptide, palmitoyl tripeptide, that enhances the collagen synthesis, and ascorbic acid. For sebum control, we are using polymers such as starch, hydrolyzed silica, and mostly we use zinc, which can modulate the enzyme regulating sebum control. We have a powerful technology that contains 15 functional ingredients to address 6 major elements of acne. This is a multifunctional approach to acne. The product itself is clear, as you can see here. It's an amber color, And when it's used to a concentration of OTC, 2% salicylic acid, the product is clear and it can be used as is or in a lotion or any other type of product. This is a practical solution, effective solution, and providing aesthetic and clear product. In the clinical test, we found that it produces 10 times greater deposition on the skin from a rinse-off application, which guarantees a much better solution, much more effective solution, using the same dosage compared to the free. Here is a video that summarizes the functionality of SalSphere Severe Acne Relief.
SalSphere Severe Acne Relief is a multifunctional platform designed to deliver not only salicylic acid, but a host of functional ingredients designed to treat the symptoms, not only the disease state, of acne. Upon application, the SalSpheres will release silica, clay, and other inert oil-absorbing ingredients onto the skin surface to act as the first front in oil absorption, to deprive the bacterium of their food source, and to prevent the formation of further plugs or blockages over the pores. Additionally, moisturizers, shea butter, and seaweed are also released at the skin surface to enhance the skin's moisture content and to provide essential fatty acids, nutrients for the skin's health. For additional moisturization, the spheres also carry lactic acid. As the lactic acid is slowly released from the spheres, its pH in contact with the skin is modulated to prevent irritation, and its release is slowed to gain additional benefits of moisturization and exfoliation. Salicylic acid is also slowly released to mitigate its effect on the skin's pH, and also to extend its efficacy range for a longer period of time. The spheres will also carry an additional antimicrobial agent, benzoyl chloride, deep into the follicle. This allows for antibacterial action to happen not only from the oxygen, which is now able to penetrate into the follicle, but from an antimicrobial as well. Additionally, the spheres carry a number of anti-inflammatory, collagen-boosting, and anti-irritancy agents, such as conjugated linoleic acid, collagen tripeptide, vitamin C, chamomile extract, and green tea extract. Finally, SalSphere Severe Acne Relief acts to prevent future breakouts by delivering zinc deep into the follicle. Here the zinc can reach the sebaceous gland, where it can inhibit 5-alpha reductase. 5-alpha reductase enzymatically converts testosterone to DHT. DHT is one of the primary stimulating factors for sebum secretion. By reducing the secretion of sebum in the first place, we can prevent the cycle that leads to breakouts, leaving the consumer with youthful, acne-free, healthy-looking skin.
Let's summarize. SalSphere Severe Acne Relief is a unique technology. It's a single technology to treat multiple symptoms of acne. It's an ideal solution for a rounder acne treatment. It's skin-friendly. It helps the skin to repair itself. It's supporting continuous skincare, especially effective for patients with acne-prone skin. It's composed of mostly natural ingredients that are comedogenic, which means they don't clog the pores. It has been in US in multiple products, claiming 24 hours, severe acne clearing, and so on. The next technology that I would like to introduce is SalSphere benzoyl peroxide. This technology is typically used for a heavier acne solution. The anti-acne solution, the anti-acne active is benzoyl peroxide. It's releasing BPO breaks down to form oxygen-free radicals and benzoic acid. The free radicals prevent the growth of bacteria by inhibiting the protein synthesis. BPO is mildly effective to break down the pimples and reduce the irritation. The use of BPO is allowed in many countries, including in the US. The free form of benzoyl peroxide, when applied on the skin, typically is drying the bacteria and drying the whole skin. Therefore, it's limited use because of the negative side effect. What we are offering here is an encapsulated form of benzoyl peroxide, SalSphere benzoyl peroxide, that is small enough to get into the hair follicle and kill the bacteria deep inside the follicle. The mechanism of release is the following. What you see here and this cross section is the formation of the pimple and the bacteria growth inside the pimple. SalSphere BPO, when applied on the skin, has high affinity to the fatty areas, the same way as salicylic acid. It dissolves into the fatty acid and it's able to penetrate. The particles are small enough to penetrate and bring the BPO deep inside the follicle. And this is the major differentiation between SalSphere BPO and any other form of BPO, including the free. The accumulation is targeting the BPO into the area where the BPO is needed the most. And because it can penetrate deeper, it can kill the deep bacteria, especially those that have severe acne, have deepened their bacteria infection. And the BPO can penetrate deeper and heal those areas specifically. The particle size is the major value of SalSphere BPO. It reaches deeper into the epidermis. It's affecting the severe acne mostly. It sustains the release of the BPO inside the pimple. The oxidizing power of BPO can open the pores and can kill the bacteria inside the pores. It is considered to be an antibiotic and a very powerful solution. It is a practical, effective, and affordable solution. Has been used in multiple forms of wash, leave-on, gels at concentration ranging from 2.5 to 10%. It used to be called the Terminator when it used at 10%. It reduces the redness and the acne formation. Now you may ask yourself, how would I know which one should I use, salicylic acid or BPO? So let's summarize the differences between the two API. Salicylic acid helps to speed cells turnover on the surface. In other words, it exfoliates the skin and resurfaces it. By doing so, it reduces the clogging. It breaks down the whiteheads and blackheads. It is available as OTC from 0.5 to 2%. BPO is an antibacterial agent that reduces the P. acne. It helps dry up existing blemishes and acne, and it's being recommended for use at 2.5 to 10%. In short, salicylic acid is a solution for everyday use, for daily skincare, everyday facial, body wash. It opens the pores, it exfoliates. It definitely helps in case of acne, but it helps to keep the skin healthy. BPO is recommended only when the acne is severe and salicylic acid is not effective any longer, typically because the bacteria is very deep inside the pimple. It could be that one has to use both, one day salicylic acid and the other day BPO. Let's summarize. OTC acne treatments are based on two APIs. Salvona is offering innovative technologies for these two OTC actives. It's utilizing the established active. We don't produce the active, but we make them work better. The technologies are used to enhance the compliance by making them more skin-friendly and reduce the overall side effects. The technology is many times combining the API with some other cosmetic elements to help accelerate the healing. Technologies are used to support the skin heal itself, achieve beautiful skin for longer time. For further information, please visit us on the website www.salvona.com. I hope this short presentation will help you make the right decision. Thank you.